Well, if you are just joining us, this is Garden City Rendezvous coming to you live from the Nigerian Television Authority, Port Harcourt Network Center. You can also view us on our StarTimes platform, channel 103. Today happens to be the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, and we have some guests here in the studio to sensitize us against drug abuse. So today with us on the studio we have Emmanuel Ogbumgbada, Assistant Commander of Narcotics Public Relations Officer, Ndlea, River State, and John Best Uche. You're welcome to our studios.
Thank you so very much for having us here.
JB! How you doing this morning?
I prefer to call it the man Adema called JB. Of course,
Happy International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking.
Yes.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay.
I saw you smile. I hope you didn't bother your lips.
You nearly did.
I nearly did, but I did not say it. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
Okay. So what message do you have for us today?
Well, today is International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, and it is a day that is set aside, by the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime. Basically, of course, when you have international days like this, they are meant to, sensitize people. They are meant to be used as a way of creating awareness, against or about some activities. And so this one, being an International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, is basically a day that has been set aside to talk about drugs, and not just drugs, but this issue of abuse of drugs, and then trafficking of drugs, illicit trafficking of drugs and all that. Basically, this year's theme talks about share facts on drugs, save lives, share facts on drugs, save lives, and basically that's that. We as social advocacy organization, we are marking it. Right Minds Leaders Network, we are commemorating it in conjunction with the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Ndlea, River State Command, and that's why we're here.
All right, to you, sir, just a quick one, in case some persons might not actually understand what drug abuse is and illicit trafficking. Just in a quick one, can you just explain it for us? Let's know where we're going into.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for first giving us this platform to talk to people about this very serious hydra-headed monster, that is about to destroy the society if we do nothing about it. Now, drug in itself is any chemical substance, that is taken into the body for the betterment of the body system. It could be used for diagnosis, treatment, or for the general well-being of the body. Now, drug abuse itself is when you use these drugs that are supposed to be for positive use, when you use them in a manner that is improper.
Okay.
By improper, I mean it is not the way the medical people have prescribed that you should use it, or you go all out to use those drugs that are banned, that you are not supposed to use. Those ones are specifically set aside for medical and scientific purposes.
Okay.
Maybe for the preparation of medicines and all that, like cocaine, heroin, even cannabis, and so on. These drugs are banned from use. They are there for scientific and medical uses, which means they could be used in the lab to produce medicines and all those things that will still be useful, positive to our body system.
Okay.
So there are three elements that make up drug abuse. When you use drugs when they are not medically necessary or not prescribed by a qualified medical doctor, it's drug abuse.
Okay.
When you use those drugs that are banned, that are legally prohibited, it's drug abuse. And then when you also use the socially acceptable drugs in excess, that is to say, excessive use of those socially acceptable drugs like alcohol, cigarettes, cola nut.
Cola nut?
Yes, cola nut.
You see what we're learning?
Coffee. I remember a particular day where a young lady came to our office. At that time, that was like 4 years ago, our office was trying to have this closed user network group. and then she was assigned to come and capture our details and assign SIM cards to us. And she didn't know where she was lodged. She saw coffee and saw Milo and saw milk, and she said, oh, I have used Milo before, but I've never used coffee. I see it, coffee, I've never used it. And so she said, let her take coffee that morning. And then she scooped like 5 spoons of coffee, the way she would do for Milo, and then drank it. And she almost lost her life, if not for quick intervention. When she got to the office, after a while, she collapsed. And then there was intervention, and then she was revived. And then she said this was what she took. So let us not underrate the effects of excessive use of our normal, common, substances in our houses, like coffee, even cola nut, because these are substances that have psychoactive effects. They affect the central nervous system and could alter the body system entirely.
So, Commander, how have we really...
Assistant Commander.
Assistant Commander, sorry. How have we really fared against the fight against drug abuse?
Yeah, the Ndlea have been up and doing. We have actually taken our job seriously. Since the formation of Ndlea, since Decree 48 of 1989, now Ndlea Act, Cap N30 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, as amended, gave Ndlea powers to operate. And so our duties are they are basically in 3 major areas. 1, drug supply suppression, drug demand reduction, and harm reduction. So for drug supply suppression, it is operational, it is kinetic. That is to say, we go all out to arrest those who are dealing in these drugs in order to suppress the supply. And so if we arrest them, we seize the drugs that they are distributing. And so if we seize 1 kilogram of any of the hard substances, it means that 1 kilogram is off the street. So we suppress this supply of drugs, and then we reduce demand. And we do that by sensitization, like what we're doing here today. We reduce demand. If you let people know the dangers inherent in the use of these drugs, they will keep away from it. We discover that a lot of people get involved in drug abuse because of ignorance, number 1.
And most times, one might not even know, just like the example you gave, might not even know that you are abusing it.
Exactly.
Just, scooping like 4, you didn't know.
Exactly.
All right, before we come to you, sir, quick one, JB, first, as right minds, JB is our friend, don't mind me, JB is our friend, he's our person. JB, first, you did end depression, and now it's drug abuse. What is inspiring you? I know your target is the youth, as a youth.
Yes.
What is inspiring you to do this?
Okay, basically, my inspiration comes from the quest, the passion to impact my world positively at that. Positively. So whatever I'm doing with my team, it is just the quest and the passion I have to impact my world that's making me to do this. Like the End Depression campaign we launched 2019, we're still doing. In fact, this year, 2021, by November we'll be doing it. We'll be having a very, very big one. And now the drug abuse. Now we are basically a leadership and social advocacy organization. And so doing the drug abuse or commemorating the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking is, of course, it's a social advocacy too, trying to create awareness, trying to sensitize people, young people on the street. Now, recently, about 2 days or 2 weeks ago or so, I got to see a young man in a transformer, urinating and sleeping with his penis outside, urinating and sleeping. And then someone has to come from outside to tap him. So what do you think has actually happened to that one? The person has taken something so serious that has made the person to get to that point and not even aware of the dangers that are ahead of him if he should fall on anything there. So it's basically the passion and quest to impact my work positively that's making us do this, right?
So to wrap this up, sir, please, what advice do you have for the youth?
Yeah, I will first and foremost commend JB and his group for what they are doing. Because any organization that is geared towards, changing the mindset of the youth is a very good one. Is doing very good.
Because our target
is the youth. These are the active, human population. So if the youth is destroyed, it means that we don't have a future.
Yes, exactly.
So we want to use this opportunity to tell everyone to please seek information. Try to understand before you consume, because ignorance is the chief killer in this whole matter, So if we all work together, we will be able to save our society from this pending doom, So I encourage everybody, parents, let us join hands together, to sanitize
your last word.
Okay, my last word basically is today is International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. So I'm going to, with what we are doing outside there. I think our activities are still on. We're still taking a walk, and then sensitization will be coming down here. So my last word basically is, if I'm talking to the youth out there, if what happens to you inside, happens to you outside, will you still take drugs? It's a question, right? There's something that goes on in their minds, inside of them when they take those drugs. So I'm asking, if that thing that happens to you inside happens to you outside, will you still take drugs? The answer, I think, would be no. So do not take drugs. Say no to drug abuse and all of that, right? And so collectively, let us share facts about drugs. Let us share facts on drugs to save lives.
Okay, thanks JB for coming around. I prefer to call you the man and the man called JB.
Thank you very much.
Emmanuel Ogbumgbada, Assistant Commander of Narcotics, Public Relations Officer, Ndlea. Thanks for having me around.
Thank you.
We're very, very appreciative of this. The NTA have been part of us. The NTA has been helping us preach this message, actually.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. We're grateful.